video for the third time today. So yes, I'm a bit on edge, but let's start talking about acne. And that sounds way more exciting than it really is. But I wanted to talk to you about acne because I've been promised you for so long, and you guys have been asking for a long time as well, and I know I have a lot of acne sufferers as viewers, and don't worry, you're not alone. So I'm gonna tell you my story. It all started once upon a time when I was 11 years old and my period came. So then it all started blossoming. Well, not all. Nothing started blossoming. I was like a stick with a buttload of acne. But I started having a lot of pimples on my forehead mostly, and it started to really piss me off because nobody else seemed to have it as bad as I did, and people will brush it off like, it's gonna pass, it's just a teenage thing. But it still really bothered me because at the time I didn't use much makeup or any at all, and it was a strain on my self-confidence. So yeah, even at 11, it just bothered me a lot. So there are lots of types of acne, and I've had different types of acne in different times of my life. And right now, I definitely say if I didn't treat it, I'd be having moderate to severe acne. And what does that mean? You can have acne that's just a few blackheads and a few pimples, and you can have acne that's full-on cystic acne melting down your face. Mine is kind of in the middle. I don't have cystic acne, thank God. So I don't have a lot of scarring, and the scarring I do have is very tiny, and you can only see like up close, which is great. But I do have, if I let it all free, I do have a lot of acne, like 30 to 50 pimples at once, and that is too much for one person just to handle. And how do you know, I get that question a lot, how do you know you have acne that needs treating? Well, basically, if you look like 2 to 3 months back and you don't have a specific time where you have no pimples at all, then you do have acne that is kind of bothering you. And it may not bother you, it bothers me, but it may not bother you. But if you feel like you're not okay, like looking in a mirror, and you don't feel if you feel like it's too much, then it probably gets to the time where it's acne, and you do have to find a way to deal with it so you can live a better life. So you probably don't believe me because now I have really kind of clear skin. So I'm gonna put a photo of me here, and I don't have a photo of my full acne, but I do have this photo. And in this photo, I have 4 months of antibiotics and 1 month of Roaccutane. So that's me with 5 months of 2 different treatments. So yeah, you can just guess how bad it was before the treatment. The thing that bothers me a lot as well is that my spots tend to stay for a long time. Like even when there's no bump anymore and it's all really smooth, I still get that red mark in my face for like a year. I still have marks from like September 2014. That's crazy, but that's just how my really sensitive skin works. But a lot of people get rid of spots easily, and especially if you use brightening products and exfoliating products. But with me, even with all those products, it's a long ride. So my first treatments were, of course, antibiotics, and that's what pretty much every basic dermatologist suggests. And you know what? Most dermatologists are crap. And I don't mean that in an offensive way. I know there are a lot of really good dermatologists, but most of the ones that I visit were crap. And some of them just didn't really take acne in consideration as a disease, and they thought it was just more of an aesthetic thing, which it is. I mean, it tears down your self-esteem, but it also is a disease, and it can get hurtful. Like when I get pimples around this zone, it gets really hurtful to the point that I can speak and I can eat and I can't smile without it hurting, and that's a problem. That's just not a looks kind of thing. But there are also the doctors that recommend antibiotics. And let me say just right off the start, antibiotics are not good for you. They're like a quick fix. They're like a patch that you put over the problem. But that patch will go away and you will get the problem anyway. I mean, what happens when you take antibiotics is that the antibiotics wipe your bacteria, the good and the bad. So they wipe the bad bacteria, so it may work while you're taking them, but as soon as you get off them, the acne comes back, and even worse because they wipe the good bacteria that was helping fight the acne. So for me, every time I get off antibiotics, I feel like the acne gets worse. So there are exceptions, but generally it's not a good measure to take care of acne. And the other kind of thing that most doctors recommend is going on the pill, because if it's hormonal, then it will take care of that. I've gone on a lot of pills, and only one of them really had an effect on my acne, and that was the Diane 35. And I don't recommend it because it's a bomb. It's just destroys your hormonal system and everything around it. It's just so strong, and it made me gain like 12 pounds. And it did clear my acne for a while, but like a year and a half later, pimples started coming back, so I kind of went off it. As I went off it, my hormonal system went batshit crap crazy and exploded on me. So that is when I started having like real problems. So I went on more antibiotics, and then I finally realized that that wasn't the route for me, and that was just not cutting it, because I couldn't just have like 6 months of really good skin and then 6 months of terrible skin. I wasn't having any of it. So I did a lot of research, and I found out that a lot of people had diet concerns when it came to acne, and that's why they had acne. So I went to the doctor, I got my allergies tested, and I realized that I was a bit lactose intolerant, and also I was allergic to wheat. So for a whole year of my life, I completely cut gluten and lactose out of my life. And it was a horrible year. Let me tell you, I didn't have any lactose or gluten, so I didn't have any basically food at all outside of my house. And even the food that I had in my house was really expensive, because in Portugal there aren't a lot of options for those kind of diets. But even then, I had so much acne. It didn't make a difference. And I know that it makes a difference in a lot of people, but that just wasn't my concern. I still know that I can't really have too much lactose, and I shouldn't have too much wheat. But that was not my acne problem. That was not where the acne was coming from. So I was desperate by that time. My skin was really crazy, and I went on Roaccutane. I had been on Roaccutane before when I was about 16, 17, but I had to go off it, and the acne just came back. So I was so desperate, and I went on it again. The thing about Roaccutane is it's just not a decision you should take lightly, because there are a lot of side effects, like nasty side effects. The first time I went on it, I don't remember a lot of the side effects being too strong. I mean, I had dry lips and dry skin, but it was something I could handle and manage. The thing that got me the first time was health issues, mental health issues. The first time around, I just felt myself really down, and I got to a point where I didn't want to get out of the bed. I always wanted to sleep more. I felt like I wasn't getting enough sleep anytime, even if I slept like 10 hours. I wanted to cry all the time. If people would say like the simplest thing, it wasn't even a mean thing sometimes, and I was just burst out crying. I felt like my life had no meaning. I was seeing a shrink at the time, and it was actually not related to this. I just really liked him, so I kept going back to him just to talk. And he noticed my behavioral change, and he asked my mom if I was on something. She said I was on Roaccutane. He said, you know what, that's it. And then we went to see the side effects like in depth, because we hadn't done that before, which was crazy. But yeah, we completely trusted the doctor. And it said that you could have depression and suicide tendencies. And my mom was really freaked out. I completely went off it, and the whole depression thing kind of went off. So I didn't really get into too deep, but I did went in the first steps of depression, which were really scary for me. And that's a huge thing to consider. I think they've changed the drug right now. The Roaccutane I took the second time wasn't that explicit on the side effects. It didn't have suicidal tendencies. It did have anxiety and mood changes and depression, I think, but in a more lighthearted tone. So I think they've changed it. And the second time around, that didn't happen to me. I was really panicking, but I was really desperate. So I kind of put my mom and my boyfriend on duty to see if my behavior changed in any way. But it didn't. The second time, I didn't have those mental health effects, which was great. But I did have a lot of the more physical effects. So my lips kind of swelled to the double what they are, and I had a really huge, like 2 millimeter size crust around my lips, of really chapped and raw skin. It was really hurtful to talk, to smile, to eat. I couldn't really open my lips past this point because it hurt a lot in my corners, so I had to like drink everything from a straw. It was really, really stressful. It got to a point where I couldn't sleep at night because I felt it was burning so much, and I felt my heart pulsating on my lips. I know not everybody has it this bad. Most of my friends who were on it didn't have it this bad, but I did, and it was, it's just a thing to consider. Just get mentally ready for it because it may happen. I also had a lot of dry hair issues because my hair is already really pretty dry, and it got so dry that I basically rubbed oil on my scalp every single day, and it was still super, super dry. That is also the main reason I got my first pixie cut, because my hair was so ruined and damaged that I just had to cut some of the dead weight off. But yes, those were the things that I deal with. I was on Roaccutane once daily for 3 months, and then once every 2 days for 3 months. And I also took antibiotics in between. I know that I said I didn't like antibiotics, and that's true, but these weren't like a long-term solution. It was those boxes that have like 3 pills of antibiotics, and I took 2 of those boxes just because my acne was really stubborn and wasn't going anywhere with Roaccutane alone. So you have 6 months after you stop taking the Roaccutane for it to kind of get out of your system. And about the 7 or 8 months, I started having breakouts again, and I was so panicky, but I didn't want to go back on it because it was ruining my life, and I didn't want to not be on it. So it was a whole deal, and it really affected my life because I didn't want to have that acne again. I didn't want to be that person that didn't get out much. I didn't get out at all when I had acne. I just stayed home a lot because I was embarrassed. If I had no makeup on, I couldn't look anyone in the eye because I was so humiliated. And if I did get out of the house, I had to have a lot of makeup on, and that took so much time that most of the time I had free, I just spent lying around the house. So I didn't want that to be my life again. So I started thinking, like, if Roaccutane is basically vitamin A on steroids, what if I took a bit of vitamin A daily as a supplement, and at a human dosage that wouldn't hurt me as much? So then I researched a lot and talked to a lot of people, heard a lot of opinions and facts and studies and everything, and I started taking some vitamin A supplements. The first ones I took were from Solgar, and they were pure vitamin A. No, I lie. It was vitamin A and vitamin D, I think. A bit of vitamin D. But they were too drying on my hair as well, so I kind of switched. And these ones are from Sesarma, and they're a Spanish brand that I adore. And these have, they have yeast, evening primrose oil, zinc, vitamin A, B3, E, and B6. And they are amazing. They are for oily and very oily skin types and for acne skin types. They say to take one every day, but I actually only take one every 2 days. And I also take probiotics, and these are the ones I'm on. They're the bio-kult Advanced Multi-Strain Formula. There are a lot of them. This one is actually pretty expensive, but they're so worth it. With probiotics, they do like the contrary of what the antibiotics do, which means the antibiotics wipe away your bacteria, and these probiotics give you bacteria. They give you good bacteria, which helps fight acne and other organism problems and dysfunctions. They are great. This combination has literally been saving my skin. I have some breakouts every once in a while, but nothing really severe and nothing that I can call really acne because right now my skin is clear. And that's just amazing. And this is what's been working for me. Of course, this isn't for everyone, and you should always talk to a doctor, and you should always listen to more opinions, and you know, see what works for you, because the diet may work for you, the pill may work for you. I don't know, every person is different, but if you feel like you've tried it all, then supplementing is really an answer to some people, and it is an answer to me, and I've been getting along so well with it. So I've been talking for so long. I think I've covered everything. If I have forgotten something, please let me know. And if you have any questions or doubts or suggestions, if you want to tell me your acne story, please leave them down in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more acne videos. There are a lot more that I want to talk about. I didn't go into skincare in this video, but I do have 2 posts on the blog, so I'll link them down below. I have one at high-end and one low-cost skincare routine post. Also, if you like this look, then stay tuned for the next video, because I will be posting a tutorial on this autumn look, face, makeup. I don't know. So that's pretty much it, and hope to see you again. Bye! Now we're on to skincare, and these are 2 items that I bought over the summer, but have actually been using a lot. And those are the Daniel Sandler Watercolor Fluid Blusher. And I've got the shades Cherub and Trip. Oh my god, this Trip shade is like bright orange. It's so beautiful.